In the heart of Kisomari, a small African village nestled between green hills and golden sunlight, life moved slowly, but every family had its own secrets. I had always been the pillar of my household, quietly helping my son and his wife in every way I could, from paying for groceries to even contributing to their house mortgage. I never hesitated. Yet, despite all my efforts and sacrifices, my son's wife seemed dissatisfied. "You don't contribute enough," she had said the night before, her words sharp and cutting. I smiled politely, hiding the sting, but deep down, I knew I could not continue silently forever. Little did they know, the next morning would change everything, a lesson about respect, value, and the weight of overlooked love. Kisomari village woke to the soft hum of roosters and the laughter of children running to the well. Sunlight spilled over colorful houses, illuminating the clay rooftops and vibrant market stalls. I sat quietly on my porch, watching the village stir to life, yet my mind was elsewhere, on my son's house, and the silent battles that played out there daily. For years, I had contributed quietly, never expecting thanks. I paid their bills, ensured groceries were stocked, and even helped cover the mortgage for their home. But gratitude never came. Instead, complaints, dismissive glances, and cutting remarks from my daughter-in-law became routine. "You don't do enough," she said just yesterday. The words slicing deeper than any knife. Even small gestures, like offering help with cooking or laundry, were met with annoyance or disdain. My love and effort were invisible to her, taken for granted as if they were owed. That evening, as I walked through their home, I felt a growing heaviness. I could no longer silently endure this disrespect. By nightfall, Kisomari had fallen quiet under a blanket of stars. I sat alone in my home, walls that had heard my laughter and sorrows, now witnessing the birth of a decision. It was time to take a step that would make them truly understand the value of appreciation and respect. Morning arrived, painting Kisomari in vivid hues of orange and gold. Birds chirped energetically, yet inside the home I had helped nurture, tensions simmered. My son's wife was bustling about, preparing breakfast, her movements sharp and impatient. She glanced at me and said, "I hope you brought your help today." Her words were laced with sarcasm. I smiled, calm, yet firm. "Actually, things are going to be different from today." Her eyes narrowed. "What do you mean?" "I will no longer contribute to the mortgage," I said softly. The room froze. The words hung in the air, heavier than the morning sun. I wasn't angry, I explained, but I could no longer allow my efforts to be ignored or belittled. Every coin, every gesture of support, needed acknowledgement. For a moment, silence reigned. My son's face betrayed shock, while his wife's expression shifted from arrogance to confusion, and then to disbelief. My step back, though gentle, created ripples that no lecture could ever produce. Walking back to my home, I felt relief. Sometimes absence, not anger, teaches the strongest lessons, and this was the beginning of their awakening. Word spread quickly through Kisomari. Neighbors whispered about the sudden shift in the household, amazed that I had dared to take such a stand. Children stopped at the well, pointing and whispering, while elders shook their heads knowingly. Sometimes respect needs lessons harder than words. Inside the house, tension thickened. My son's wife tried to hide her frustration, but every glance, every movement revealed it. She could not mask the realization that her dismissive attitude had consequences. My son, torn between loyalty to his mother and anger toward his wife, struggled silently. I watched from my porch, feeling a mixture of sadness and satisfaction. True love and support are not just about giving blindly. They are about teaching the value of respect. That evening, Kisomari village seemed quieter. Even the wind, rustling through the acacia trees, carried a solemn tone. The lesson had begun. By the end of the night, I felt the first signs of change. My presence alone, and the absence of my constant aid, spoke volumes. Sometimes, silence speaks louder than 1,000 arguments. Days passed. Gradually, acknowledgement and respect began to replace arrogance and indifference. My son's wife approached me quietly, tears glistening in her eyes. I didn't realize. We took everything you did for granted," she admitted. I smiled gently. "It's never about punishment," I said. "It's about understanding what love and support truly mean." My son nodded, relief and understanding softening his features. They had finally grasped the truth I had silently carried all these years, that love is not just about doing, but about respect, gratitude, and recognition. By the following week, harmony was restored. Though now with boundaries and acknowledgement, the mortgage continued. But so did the understanding that respect and gratitude must accompany help. In Kisomari village, this quiet lesson became a story retold of love, sacrifice, and the power of standing firm. Sometimes, the absence of what is taken for granted teaches the most unforgettable lessons. Life often teaches us lessons in ways we least expect. In Kisomari village, my silence spoke louder than words, and my absence carried the weight of truth. Sometimes, the love and support we give are overlooked, but that does not mean they are unnoticed by the universe. Respect and gratitude are earned, not demanded, and when we stand firm with patience and dignity, even the hardest hearts can learn. This story reminds us, boundaries are not walls, but the foundation for respect. And in the end, those who once doubted your love often become the first to acknowledge it.